Hello and welcome to day 3 of our 12 Days of Christmas with Retro Game Revival, our countdown to Christmas 2021, and day 3, our worst game you ever got for Christmas. So we'll kick things off with Nintendo. What was the worst game you ever got for Christmas?
I did have to have a little think about this because I think probably like most of us, we generally sort of did your research in your magazines or you watched your TV shows and you really thought about the games that you wanted. But being a comic fan growing up and still a comic fan now, anything with Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men in it, it was just I had to have it. And I remember the year Batman Forever came out, and there was a tie-in movie game. Sometimes these can be good, sometimes these can be not quite so good. I wanted Batman Forever on the Super Nintendo, and yeah, that's not great, is it? I don't know if anyone else has played it, but it's really not good. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's either from the developers of Mortal Kombat or and the character models are basically the Mortal Kombat characters with a Batman skin on them, and then they just change the skins on everyone, and it's just the music is terrible, the gameplay is terrible. It has absolutely sweet diddly squat to do with Batman Forever the movie. It's just not great. The grappling hook didn't work properly. You have to, I think it was like up and select to fire the grappling hook. I mean, who uses
A weird
select?
combination. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird combo, isn't it?
Weird. Can you do the Mortal Kombat uppercuts as well?
You could, yeah. Just Batman would be like, and it was Mortal Kombat minus blood with Batman, but with terrible music, terrible graphics. No, sorry, the graphics are okay, but every time you'd walk behind like a pillar, rather than have him walk in front of it, you'd walk behind it. So there were levels where there was just pillars and stuff everywhere, and you couldn't see what the hell was going on. It was a real colossal disappointment, that game. I've still got it because I still have, but it's not great, that one. Not great. And that was my that awful moment on Christmas Day where you're playing the game and you're like, yeah, it's great, love it. And even then, as a kid, you're playing it like this is really not very good.
I think we'll all probably find that with our answers, that the game that we didn't like, we still really made an effort to like it. Yeah, you play it as much as you can before you admit to it. It's like, no, okay, I can't carry on playing this game. It's actually quite bad. How about you, Ryan? What was your worst game?
Well, mine is the year I got my Game Boy, and mainly because of my sister got a Game Boy as well that Christmas, and I remember I hadn't opened my presents yet, and she opened hers, and she had Mario Land 1, and then Mario Land 2, and then the Game Boy with Tetris.
Amazing.
I was like, wow, what she got? I opened my first game, Ghostbusters 2. I opened my second game, Double Dragon 3. And I don't know if anyone's played those games on the Game Boy, but Ghostbusters 2, you're basically two characters. Your second character just gets stuck all the time because the first character zaps the ghost and the second one's got the trap. It's just really, really horrible to play. And then Double Dragon 3, I think you only have like 1 life on it or 2 lives. It's one of those games where you just can't progress through it at all. But they're probably the two, and like Tim said, I played the life out of them because they were the only 2 games I had. But I remember on Christmas Day saying to my sister, "Oh, can I play Mario Land, please?"
No. It sounds like she was the favourite child.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird actually how many games from that time gave you very limited lives. Like if I go and play a lot of games in emulated now, it's like, how on earth are we supposed to make progress in this game? You get 3 lives or something, and you run out of lives on the first level.
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't
it?
Yeah.
How about you then, Blunders? What was your worst game you got?
Well, back in the day, like you said, you either you're looking at magazines or it was box art. So you go around, you look at the box, and I remember getting Bubble Bobble for the NES. Yeah, and I just absolutely hated it. I thought it was absolute crap. But the pictures on the box at the time, do you know what I mean? I was only 8, if that. But the picture looked just cartoony. It's it looks good from the pictures, but I played it. It's horrendous. It's rubbish. And I remember being how can I started thinking, how can I get this sent back or traded back? Do you know what I mean? I don't want this. It's so bad. But it was pretty much going in, oh yeah, Mum, I like that one. That looks good. And then it just turned up on Christmas Day. But no, Wish I hadn't. It was
I think
awful.
the worst one for me for box art misleading was on the BBC Micro. We had this Doctor Who game, and the box art looks really cool. And I was like, I really want to play this game. We played it. It's like a bunch of squiggly lines on the screen. I had no idea what was going on. It's like these bunch of worms on the screen. And that was it. I was like, what the hell is this? I stopped playing it, and I kind of forget how bad it was. And I'd look at the box art again and think, yeah, I want to give this another go because it just looks really cool. I want to give it another try. It's like, nah, it's crap. I think I attempted that game about 3 or 4 times. And every time I just remembered, oh yeah, I don't play this because it's terrible. But the box art just kept luring me in because it just looks so good. Yeah, that was terrible too. What about you then, Dorbs? Do you ever have any bad games for Christmas?
Yeah, but I think it's Christmas '97. Getting that piece of garbage Final Fantasy VII just ruined my Christmas.
Did you actually get it for Christmas?
I'm sure I did. I don't think I got it myself.
That was one of my best Christmas presents I ever got.
I don't know how. You must have had dreadful presents. Other than
that violin from episode 1, mate, is just gone out the window
Definitely
now.
I think I'd rather
Smaller
get.
and smaller and smaller.
I think I'd rather get a lump of coal for Christmas than Final Fantasy VII. At least with a lump of coal, you can burn it, and make yourself warm. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII.
Brutal.
No, I did give it a bit of time. Played it for about an hour, had about 20,000 fights.
You go past the cutscenes.
How far did you actually get? Well, yeah, that's the thing. You skip cutscenes in games, you'd have missed out on a lot of the lore and the story of the game. But how far did you actually get before you just decided you hated it?
Oh, I can't remember, mate. I can't
Just
remember. I think I did quite a few. Well, probably a good couple of hours in. I was like, oh, this is just boring. It's just the same stuff. I'm so bored.
There is a bit in that game. This is in multiple games where, when you get a little bit further in, you start doing the stuff where you make the different combinations of magic that creates a bit of synergy, and you can kind of come up with these clever combinations.
Oh, he's got patience to do
That's
that.
the thing, though. If you enjoy doing that part of it, it's like a part of the game you really enjoy, then it's great. But if you don't enjoy that sort of thing, then you're just going to not enjoy the game. Like, I quite like doing things like, I know, if you play something like Warhammer, you've got the game of Warhammer, but then you also have like the meta game of designing your army and deciding how you can spend your points best. Or like, if you're playing something like Magic the Gathering, you've got the deck building and then the actual game. It's kind of broken down like that, and I really enjoy the actual designing how my characters are going to work, and then testing out in the field and seeing how they play. If that sounds really boring to you, then it's not an appealing game, is it?
I mean, mixing potions and stuff.
If
I wanted to do that, I'll be a scientist, but I'm not. So
I suppose it's the difference between playing a football game like FIFA and then playing like a stat-based game like Championship Manager. They're very different games, but the same sort of thing. And I kind of see, like, in RPGs, you kind of have a bit of both. You have the actual going out and playing it, and then there's doing all like the admin around your items and stuff like that, which you could find really boring or you could find really interesting. I always like the game mechanics.
It's boring for me.
It's a weird one. I think if you've played a game for a couple of hours, this is any game you pick up. If you've played it for a couple of hours and it's just not ticking a box for you, I think there is so many. Especially now, we're so spoiled for choice with old games, new games. If it's not ticking your box in 2 hours, just get rid of it. Move on to something else.
Same with like TV series now. Like a TV series has to really hook me for me to give it time because I've got so many options. So if I'm a few episodes in and I'm not feeling it, it's like I'll just go watch something else. Even if it's actually fairly good, there's so many great TV shows. I'm like, nah, I'm just going to watch something else because.
And how about you, Tim? What was your worst game you ever got for Christmas?
I think, as I mentioned one of the other days we did, when we got the PlayStation 1, we got like a stack of games that came with it. I think that's one of the few times I just got a random game and not a game that I asked for. Because I think my parents just got me whatever I said I wanted, and that was Tunnel B1. Was one of the games in the stack of games you got with the PlayStation and the bundle. And I just didn't really know what was going on. It's like first person in a tunnel. Like I think you're meant to be like on a train track or something. And like you move forward and shoot things. And I couldn't figure out how to open a door. And yeah, it's just really bad. Just couldn't figure out what's going on.
Was that the front cover for that? Was that the guy in like a gas mask or something?
Yeah,
that's
the one. Yeah.
Do you know? I vaguely remember.
Sure it was.
I remember that coming out at the time and thinking, "Wow, that looks great!" And I'm glad you've sort of
good.
scared me because I've never kind of gone back to it, and maybe I won't now because
it did look good, and actually the graphics weren't too bad. And again, I'd just gone from like Mega Drive to PlayStation 1, so that graphic jump was quite significant, wasn't it? It's like this looks so good, and at the time it was amazing graphics for me, and I was like, but it's just not very playable. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. It was just really dull. Just there wasn't really much to do.
I think there's nothing worse than that when you put a game in and you don't know what's going on. You can't quite figure it out. There's stuff happening and you just can't quite get to grips with what's happening in front of you, and it just totally takes it. Wow,
that must be a variant cover because the one I had
a bit weird.
That's got to be North American. That's got to be North American. I mean, that looks terrifying.
Right. Well, that is our worst games we've got for Christmas. You can join us again tomorrow to hear who we would invite round for our Christmas dinner from previous guests. So that's going to be an interesting one. Who would the panel have over and why? Let's find out on the next in the 12 Days of Christmas. Right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Merry
We'll
Christmas,
see you tomorrow.
everyone.